What up?
I don't think.
Oh, there we go.
Yet, but we got some levels now.
Levels.
Levels make a difference, believe it or not. I
can't hear the snare.
It is good. Turn my bass up.
Turn my bass up.
Turn
They
my
make
bass
a
up.
big difference.
Already
Cleaning out my
two outs in the
closet.
seventh. Let's go, Mets. Come on,
Check
baby.
the sound according to Janice.
Yeah, no, because we remember for 3 minutes there,
Yeah.
2 minutes there, we no, maybe a minute. We had no sound. We're still not recording yet, so remember, I gotta hit that record, but not until we get some music.
And
We gotta get a little intro here.
And we also have to remind people the
Thank
easy
you, Janice.
thing to do.
We're all good.
Oh, like, subscribe, follow, share. I mean, if you happen to be watching us right now, before we even hit the record button, just hit that like button.
Yeah,
And if you
the little
haven't
thumbs up.
subscribed,
Hit the
I mean, I
thumbs
think we're
up.
up to like
Please
21
hit the thumbs up button.
subscribers. So, I mean, that's pretty cool, I guess. Let's try for 25. Why not? It's only four more.
go,
Four more
baby.
people out there tonight.
Oh, my
Why
God.
not just hit that subscribe button and get us to
I
25?
just sent the link to
Oh,
my
wait,
mom.
I
She
got
wanted
my-
my
I got
opinion
my
on
cousin
Robert Sauer,
Jen
so I
calling
sent
me.
her the link.
Oh,
I
well,
was
you
like,
know
let's
we're going to
go.
talk about Sauce. Speaking of that,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're interested. If you're,
I mean, we can get you on the show. I just have to give you my friend Eric's number because he's the one connected to the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
all right. Well,
We
if
can
we're
get her
getting
on
her,
the
on the
show.
show, we got to get her on the show. So we're gonna get some music going here.
Mama H in the chat. What up, Mama H?
All right.
It's good to be back. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say
We are
this
back.
number. Give it about like a minute just so we can get everything up and
We are
running.
back.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Mets up
All right.
4-0.
So
Craziness.
My cousin Jen's gonna call in. She said she has some serious football questions. So
All right, so
Okay.
I guess we're gonna start football wise then, and we'll start
we
with her
should
questions.
start
yeah, I mean,
football-wise.
I'm gonna
So let me get the
I'm
Bluetooth.
sending her your number in just a second, Eric. So
Bluetooth should be hooked
she's
up, so
gonna,
we should be good for the call.
So welcome, everybody.
Pretty damn cool that we can take calls too. So, I mean, listen, they gotta have my number, but we can take it.
My stepfather would like us to talk about New England sports. I'm like, bro, that ain't gonna happen.
Well, listen, I mean, we're kind of New England-ish. What do you want to talk
what
about? The
New
crappy
England sports?
Patriots?
Like,
I
he's
mean,
a big
the-
Patriot guy. He's
But they're not any
huge.
good right now.
And the Red
Although I
Sox.
think they have potential, they're not any good right now. They're not.
I mean,
they're not,
we
they're
can
just
point
not.
out the fact that they would have the #1 pick if the season ended
Good
today.
point. We got our.
And after you got the guy that you believe would be your franchise quarterback, right?
But not
Having a-
everybody's ready to step in and be that guy day one, especially a guy. What have I always said to you? Guys out of colleges like North Carolina. Oh,
There she is. That's cousin Jen. I don't know if cousin Jen. I think you might have to turn her up as well.
cousin Jen is here with us
Hey,
now.
Eric, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, loud and clear.
Okay,
How
so
are you?
Listen, I'm doing great. How many viewers are listening?
Maybe
no, we
3 or
don't know.
4 right
There's
now.
4
We're
people
early
in
in
the
the
chat.
show.
My mom's listening right now, so you can say hi to your
Okay.
aunt.
Hi, Aunt Susie. So here's my question.
Okay.
I'm from Georgia. We know Matthew, don't call him Matt. Matthew Stafford played at University of Georgia. How many years? Is it time for him to retire?
Ooh.
Honestly, yeah, he's getting to that age. He's got to be, what, 36, 37 now?
Yes.
I want to say.
Yeah, I mean he's 37, I think.
You gotta love that we're talking about a guy retiring from football at 36, 37, and every person that's having this conversation is all older than him, and we all have another like 30 years of working. So that's awesome.
What's the problem with the Rams this year?
I mean, honestly, the biggest issue with the Rams is their top 2 wide receivers, including their #1 wide receiver got injured in week 1. Their #2 wide receiver got injured in week 2, I think. Cup
Wait,
played
is this
2
Coop?
games.
Is this Cup?
Yeah,
Cup?
Cooper Cup
And
and Puka Nacua.
And don't forget the biggest thing. Number 99 retired.
And they also lost Aaron Donald, a future Hall of Fame defensive lineman who wreaked havoc on every team he ever played against. So
the defense.
When did he leave?
last
2 years ago?
This year.
last season.
This was his first year without.
Yeah, last year was his last year playing. So
Listen, why does their coach cover his face with that laminated sheet? Does he think people are reading his lips?
Yes.
Yes,
Well,
that's exactly what he's doing.
If you watch the majority of coaches that call plays, whether it be offense or defense, do that. It's natural because if you go back to all those years ago with Bill Belichick and the Patriots and their video camera or videoing cheating scandal that they went through, one of the things that they were doing was they had people in the press boxes that we're trying to read the lips of the other coaches to try and get an advantage on whatever plays they might be calling on either side of the ball.
Okay, this is going so well. We're going to pivot.
Pivot away, Jen. Pivot away. Let's go.
Travis, how many more years does Travis have left?
He's done. He's done if they don't three-peat. He came back this year just to three-peat. So if you're talking about Travis Kelce, he came back for the chance to three-peat. That's the only reason he's back. Otherwise, he'd retire now with his brother. What's he got to play for? He's got championships. He's got the most famous girl in the world on his arm. He's got no real reason to come back other than to win 3 in a row.
Which no NFL team's ever done before. That's what it
why
is.
Has he stated that? Has he said that, Eric?
A little bit somewhere. No, he has stated something somewhere to that effect of he wants the three-peat. I don't think he said it's specifically that reason he came back, but people have asked him because his brother has retired, and he has said things of that nature that he really is trying to come back for that three-peat.
Have you guys doubled your viewership since I've called in?
I would bet money that we have, and if not, the podcast listeners that download it later will definitely be quite happy to hear that voice.
Okay, let's keep. Mahomes. They're saying he's like Tom Brady. He's the best of the best right now.
Yeah, he's the best. He's your benchmark. He's a guy who's willing to take less to make his team better. He continues to win at a high level, but I will always preface this with I don't think he's the same player if he gets drafted anywhere else. I think he's a product of Andy Reid's coaching. Andy Reid is a phenomenal coach who doesn't get enough credit. And to me, Patrick Mahomes is as good as he is. And listen, I think Tom Brady was as good as he was, partly because of Belichick and the systems that they had in place. And I think it's the same for Mahomes. So, yeah, he's the benchmark right now. But he's also the benchmark because of his coach. You got to give the coach credit, too.
Eric, you're great. David, are you listening to this guy? He's great.
I don't hang out with him just because of his looks. I can promise you that.
Okay, we're pivoting again. Do you think Belichick is taking Viagra to be with that 24-year-old girlfriend?
Absolutely. You got it. Yeah. I mean, listen, he's, 70 years old now?
Isn't Saban dating a 25-year-old, too?
No, Saban's got a Miss Terry.
You're right. I saw a picture of Belichick. I'm sorry. I thought it was Saban.
That's Belichick. Don't you sully Saban's name like that in my Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide.
You're talking to the wife of the Georgia household.
How do you guys pregame?
How do we pregame?
Do you pregame for this show?
Every now and then we do partake in a little bit of pregaming.
Okay, we're gonna end with this. First of all, Kelsey's brother, I forget his name. He's
Jason.
Doing great as the announcer. I love it.
Oh, he's awesome. He's been so much fun.
He does not care. He's not wearing a suit. He's wearing his Timberlands. He doesn't give a flying crap.
No, he does not. And he is, now that he no longer plays for the Eagles, I am a huge fan of his.
Because he was so good with the Eagles.
I hate the Eagles. So if you wear that jersey, I hate you too.
Someone meant, Nick Saban on College Game Day is amazing. He's so happy. And his love and romance with Miss Terry, they're the real deal.
Oh, absolutely. He's the best. I'm a Bama fan. I don't know if you know that. I'm an Alabama fan.
And who's the other guy that's not talking
Joey.
in the room?
Joey Day. You met Joey when we were like 10.
Joey. Hey, Joey. Okay, Joey, can you talk? Are you signing? I don't know what you're doing.
I'm signing. I'm just letting them rip
He hangs out
Jen,
in the chat.
Jen,
gives us updates. Plus,
really?
He's not much of a college guy, so once we get into that college realm,
Jen, if you want to know how you know Joey, remember when me, Mom, and Dad used to live in Troy Hills Village?
And you had my daughter hanging out the window?
Yes. Joey was my best friend that lived downstairs that would come up and we'd throw Victoria around all over the house and,
that's awesome.
bruise her up
Joey,
a little bit.
Good. That's deep. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up with this last thing.
Yeah, this is Victoria's mom.
That's what I was actually going to ask when she got off the phone, but I didn't want to be rude.
Listen, the SEC is crazy. That Vandy beating Alabama was amazing.
She had to say.
I feel like she's rubbing it in a little bit right now. But I'll tell you what. Here's what I'm going to say. It was a letdown week. It was a letdown week because the Georgia win was a big win. That was something that was it was a milestone for Kalen DeBoer as his first year coming in, facing his first big test. I think they partied a little too much and didn't take Vandy as serious as they needed to. And that option offense they were running, what they did this weekend, Alabama had no stop to them. Like, they ran all over them and kicked their ass. So, yeah, Bama lost this week, but guess what? We're still going to be in the playoffs. Georgia's still not going to want to face us. Georgia's still not going to want to face us.
Hey, that coach got a lot of crap for the shirt he wore at the game.
Oh, well, because he wore a T-shirt. You gotta spruce it up a bit. I agree with that. I mean, he's not Belichick yet. He's not one of these guys. Kalen DeBoer, the Alabama head coach, he wore a T-shirt on the sidelines this week.
That was not up to the standards. Yeah.
And listen, I'll tell you what, I thought it was really cool that they actually, and again, I'm not for vandalism, I'm not for always breaking down the goalposts, but it's the first time, and I think Vandy was 0-60 against, top 5 opponents.
Yeah,
They've never made anybody.
I think it was great.
So
I think it was great that
down
they
and
took
they carried it all the way through the city, down Broadway, and threw it in the river. And then,
they got fined $100,000.
But in the town, what apparently they're going to do, or what I heard they might do, is they fished it out of the river because they had to. But then they're going to cut it up. Yeah, they're going to sell the pieces of it, and that's going to go to pay the fine.
That's actually really
so
smart.
I think that's really cool. And who wouldn't want a piece of that? If you're a Vandy guy or a Vandy girl, you go to that school, and you were at that game, I'd want a piece of that.
Hell yeah.
Eric, I got to get a word in here now. Eric, listen, we're pivoting back to the NFL.
Okay.
Who was the big guy last night that got a pick? He ran it back. The defender. And then they showed him with oxygen. He didn't score with it, but he intercepted it.
Yeah, the guy from the Saints. I did see it. I don't know his name. I'll be completely honest off the top of my head. I did see it. I thought it was really cool. And what I also thought was cool is after the game, a lot of the Chiefs went to him and
I saw that.
We're giving him love for it.
Really?
Cool. I thought it was a cool moment of sportsmanship that it wasn't I hate him. It was oh dude, there's it was actually a cool moment.
But did you see him? They showed him on the sidelines getting some air.
Well, he's a big man. He ran as fast as he could for as long as he could. So I'm imagining I would need some air too. I don't know if you could see me, but I'm a large fella. I would probably need some air. If I did a 40-yard sprint, you're probably gonna need some oxygen for me afterwards.
I saw next gen
David,
stats.
David, we're headed to Maine on Thursday. Is there any way you can meet us up there for drinks?
Meet
if you're
you
driving,
in
you drive
Maine
past
on
here.
Thursday. I think the likelihood of me meeting you guys is you stopping in Jersey on your way up.
Or down.
Yeah,
I mean, I can say
into Boston.
If you want,
they're flying into Boston.
Oh, I was gonna say if you want, I will happily tell Rich to meet you guys in Maine, and you can enjoy spending some time with your uncle because that is always a pleasure.
I think I'm good. I think I FaceTimed him at Christmas at Scott's house.
Yeah, I mean that once a year is enough. I get that. Trust me.
Yeah. Hey, y'all, this was great. When do I call back? Next Tuesday?
Yeah, either next Tuesday or Wednesday. Dave can let you know the time, and you can feel free to call in anytime.
Also,
and Eric, don't start sending me inappropriate texts because I'm happily married for 28 years. Okay.
I will make sure not to do that because I don't think my wife, who's downstairs right now, would appreciate that either.
I don't need any pics. Okay. I'm happily
oh my
married.
God, Jen. Hey, Jen, really quick. I got a question for you.
This
God.
awesome.
My question for you is, how was Jeff last Saturday watching that game?
Well, I fell asleep, and we looked like we were good. They came back and rallied, and then it got intercepted on that last play. I mean, we know how tough Georgia is. I mean, how tough Alabama is.
I know how much Jeff loves his dog, so I just want to make sure he's doing okay.
42-3 in their last 45, Georgia. No, 40. No, they're 43-3 in their last 46. I think now after this weekend, but those 3 losses.
I'm going to say the acronym wrong. Is it the NL? What is this stuff where they're getting paid? NL, NIL?
NIL.
Yeah.
Okay. That has completely ruined college football.
Oh, absolutely. And it changed it because now there's no more diversity. There's no more, it's not a level playing field for sure. And that's why you see these power conferences. That's why Texas and Oklahoma jumped from the Big 12 and they collapsed the Big 12 pretty much is because, the Pac 12 and all that, because the way NIL works, the way the TV deals work now and everything else, the money has killed the sport. It honestly has. But as we know, we talk about all the time when we talk NFL here, nothing stops the Shield. And nothing stops them from wanting more and more money. And unfortunately, even in college, all they see is the money. And now, now it goes all the way down to the kids as well.
That's why Miss Terry told Nick, they're not here for the game anymore. They're here about the money. Have you heard of this show, Pardon the Interruption? Y'all ever heard of that?
Say that one more time. Your son just cracked us up. Your son cracked us up, so I missed you.
What did I crack you up about, Miss Terry?
No, Jake just wants to know why you're on the show.
Who's Jake?
Jake?
From State Farm?
Your son?
Who, Jake, my son?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in our
He
chat.
literally messaged in the chat that we have on YouTube, "What's my mom doing on this podcast?"
No shit.
Yeah, but your aunt covered you. She said, "Talking football, I'm proud of her."
Okay, last thing.
This is awesome.
We were watching, Jake's hysterical. Here, they said yesterday, because I love those old guys. They're great. 4 of those quarterbacks were playing for whoever, I don't know what teams, had played all at different teams last year. The four of the starting quarterbacks were somewhere else.
In the
last
NFL?
year.
Maybe Darnold.
No, college.
College. Oh, because they followed the money. I got you.
Well, that's just
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That guy has one bad year, or 1 year where he thinks that he didn't play enough, or coach, he doesn't like the coaches or whatever. Every player now hits that transfer portal. The portal, too, has killed the sport because there's no...
It's the Wild Wild West.
It really is. You could go. You could be in and out of schools.
Rules.
You could go.
There's no rules to this.
None.
It's stupid.
And it's becoming a problem for collegiate sports, honestly. And to be honest, it's really bad. And there's no fix to it because now they've opened the floodgates. They've opened the money. You can't take it back from them now. That's the hardest part. So it's how to navigate going forward. But, yeah, the big conferences are where it's at. You're going to see it go down to really 4 conferences that matter, and the rest who play college football are going to be, relegated to their own leagues because they're not going to bring in any money. And why are these other power conferences going to start to funnel money into them? It doesn't make sense anymore. Like, you have teams like Alabama or whatever, they pay, like, Louisiana Monroe $1 million to come play them. Why? Like, eventually get rid of that, make money instead of paying people money. And
money.
it's going to go that way eventually.
They make money. I wonder if... Jen, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, guys, it's time for me to take my gummy.
All right.
Hey, cousin Jen, I am so glad you called in. I will let you know what week we're...
Great talking to Joey, Eric, Jakes, Aunt Susie, and the other one person listening. Great call, guys.
Probably my wife Janice downstairs.
What a way to sign off, though. What a way to just sign off.
We need a segment from cousin Jen every week. That was
That could be a segment. That could be a new segment that we have on the show. Cousin Jenny.
She has forever been one of my favorite family members. Ever since I remember her I still remember her babysitting me when I was 8 years old. So, cousin Jen's good people, man. She really is, and her kids are great. Jake, Elizabeth, my cousin Victoria. Victoria now has 2 kids.
Crazy how time flies.
Yeah, we're getting old, man.
Speaking of kids, and I'm going to transition us here right now, and I mean, I might as well hit my fancy new button for it. I think it's... I'm putting new sounds on here, guys. I'm excited for myself. But in the meantime, there's 2 things I want to bring up NBA-wise before Fife calls in and before we get too deep into this week with football. By the way, that was an awesome segment. She should call in more often because I think that we could make a segment out of that. But the first
5 minutes with cousin Jen.
It's way better than watching 5 minutes of Bronny on the floor.
Bro.
I'll tell you that. It's way better than watching 5 minutes of Bronny on the floor.
I mean,
he's atrocious as a basketball player. He's not. He's G League quality at best, and bench G League. Like coming off the bench in the G League, he is not NBA ready. And the fact that he automatically gets a spot, not just drafted by the team, but on the roster because of his daddy Bron. Like, I'm sorry, I got a problem. Like, you call me daddy. Yeah, you're calling him daddy right now. Like, because Hey, Daddy, can I have the ball? Can you pass me the ball? Like, and again, I'm talking from a guy who's actually worked with his father. I worked with my dad. I worked with him for a few years.
Oh man,
Same
I
company,
thought you were
whatever.
talking about LeBron James you worked with.
No, I worked with my actual
Like, what the hell are
father.
you sitting here with us for?
bro.
Listen, I understand where LeBron's coming from. That listen, it's a cool idea to play with your son and whatever, but the rest of us don't give a damn about it. And if he's not good and he actually drags the Lakers down, he's going to take a bench spot from somebody. He's going to take minutes away from somebody. Right now, he's a negative 14. He's not on the plus minus. He's a negative 14. He is not a good ball player. And unfortunately, I just don't know if he's ever going to be that player. And when his dad retires in 2 or 3 years, guess what? I have a feeling we're going to see Bronny retire too. Because what's he sticking around for?
I don't think he's gonna retire.
Why? Who? He's
But
not any good.
He's 19, 20. I think he's 20 now. You're right. Right this second, he's not good. NBA
He should have remained in
NBA
college.
He should have remained in college and
He
developed
rushed
more.
it.
100%.
Agreed with that, but I think this plays into LeBron's ego,
100%.
LeBron's narrative of I could be the first person ever to be on the basketball court with their son. And
That's what all this is.
it's all about money too at the end of the day, because this is going to bring in a ton of money. I don't know if it's going to bring viewership, but it's going to bring in money.
It'll bring in money. It'll bring in viewership for the early part of the season. If Bronny continues to play as bad as he has, the viewership will fade away.
Very true.
If the Lakers go back, play the way they've played the last 2 years, the viewership's going to fade away. Like, I've said this multiple times. LeBron James' longevity in the NBA is unmatched. Mm-hmm. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. How long he's been playing and at the level he's played the game at is unmatched. The fact that his son, who was born when he started his NBA career, is now playing on his team
That's unbelievable.
is crazy. But it's crazy for more than just the longevity of LeBron playing. It's crazy because the kid was not NBA ready. Does he have the potential to be NBA ready one day? Maybe.
No.
I am far from a big talent scout to sit here and just say no flat out with 100%. Like, I can't die on that
He wouldn't
hill.
have been drafted.
No, but that's what I'm saying. If he stayed in college, if he played 3-4 years in college,
Maybe.
that's what I'm saying, right? But at the same time, right now he's in the NBA. Even if he gets put down to the G League, like he can develop. You don't know what he'll develop into. But
Garbage.
jumping into the
A hot
NBA,
pile of garbage.
jumping into the NBA was the wrong choice for a long-term NBA career. That was the wrong choice. It's not going to help him because, look, everybody that plays sports will tell you, right? You want to get better, you play against people that are better than you. But when the difference in talent is so drastic,
He's
you
been playing
can't
against
develop.
his dad his entire life. He's been playing against the best in the world his entire life. He's still not any good. He hasn't raised his bar to the level of competition.
He'll crap on you, Eric.
Yeah, but
But again, I'm 40 and overweight.
but also
He'll
too.
crap on me,
I'm
too.
not a 19-year-old kid trying to make it in the NBA. Or
I
20-year-old
would blow
kid.
out my knee trying to defend him
my
or any
God,
other
for
person playing
hamstrings,
basketball. But
Achilles.
look,
Oh, I'm
yes,
not going to sit here and tell you
yeah,
I should be on the
but-
court, but I know my role too, and it ain't on the court.
But yes, he played against his dad. But one of the biggest knocks we've had on LeBron James his entire career is that killer instinct, that competitive mindset of I will die before I lose. My father had that, right?
Mm-hmm.
My dad, when I was good enough to beat him one-on-one in basketball and I'd get past him on like a crossover, would shove me from behind so I couldn't make the layup.
I came from the same type of
I
background.
highly doubt LeBron James did that. Now, I can only imagine the way, like, Jordan's sons ain't make it to the NBA because he probably just showed him, you ain't got no chance because you ain't ever going to beat me, right? Kobe's kids, his daughters play basketball and his one daughter is apparently pretty damn good at the game. But they're still so young, you have no idea. But you could bet your ass Kobe was stuffing their layups when they were little girls with no hesitation. Where LeBron was probably picking Bronny up. Like, you could dunk the ball, yay. Like, and I'm not saying that's a bad, like, and just to be clear to anybody listening, I am not telling anybody how to parent, okay? Just to be very clear here, I'm not telling anybody how to parent or raise their children. But when it comes down to Bronny being NBA ready at 20 years old, he's not. And I would not be surprised if you asked LeBron James how he raised him playing basketball. He was probably a little more forgiving than other parents may be. So just to be very clear there, not judging the type of parenting, anybody how they want to parent, as long as you're not hurting your kids and you're feeding them and you're keeping clothes on their back and a roof over their head, everything else is your call, right? But I mean, Bronny at 20 years old is not ready to be in the NBA. He should have stayed at least 2 more years in college, played against that competition, had the opportunity, because for all we know, as a junior in college, there could have been 10 freshmen better than him. That right there tells you all you need to know about where you're going to fall in the NBA, right? That's all you need to know. And he made the jump too soon. I know he did it because his dad wanted to play with him.
And again, there's something to be said for that. I don't want to take away that moment between them, because for them, for LeBron, for his family, for Bronny, I'm sure it's the coolest thing in the world. And I'm sure it's to maybe some Laker fans or some really big LeBron fans, maybe it's the coolest thing in the world. Maybe this is something they've clamored for, that they want. Oh my God, this has never happened before. We're setting history here. This is amazing. Good for them. But the kid's not any good. And as a basketball fan, I shouldn't want to sit here and watch terrible basketball or a terrible basketball player when I could be watching somebody much better.
Well, it is preseason.
It is. But again, he's not going to get any better in the regular season.
I'm just saying. He might not even be on the team and come regular season.
LeBron James, GM and as partial owner, that ain't happening. He's on the team. How much playing time he gets, that's a whole nother question. But you know for damn sure the first game of the season, Bronny is coming in so that they can officially say LeBron James played with his son in a regular season game.
Absolutely.
And LeBron, if they make the playoffs, they'll do the same thing. They'll make sure Bronny gets 2-3 minutes on the court with his dad, so they can say LeBron and his son played in the playoff game, because that's a title.
So then when they say we played in the play-in game.
Yeah.
You know, that time me and Dad played in the play-in game.
But they'll count that as
again, that's where Bronny's going to lead you, is to the play-in game. You're not going to be a top team in the West.
That's where 40-year-old LeBron's going to lead them to.
Exactly.
They're not in the West. They are not a good team.
That's what I mean. Is like this is almost like an extra crown, an extra gift, an extra oh, here, LeBron, as you go out the door, here's some time to play with your son and
he wants one other thing he can say he did that nobody else did. But when it's all said and done,
he's still not better than Jordan.
Jordan never played with his kids.
Look, just like Bronny's career is going to be done very soon, I think we can end this topic pretty soon as well.
Well, yes, I actually want one more topic on the NBA real quick, and then I swear we're going to move to, 2 more, because we got WNBA too, because nobody talks more WNBA than we do right here. But,
hell no, let's go Liberty.
But before we get to that, Liberty. I don't know how much we talked about it last week, and I got to bring it up this week, because it's monster news to me as a Knicks fan. But
wow, yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns coming to the Knicks. To me, moving Julius Randle, who listen, he brought the Knicks up to where they are now. You can't get the Knicks where they are now without starting with saying, Julius Randle, you got us here. But at the same time, he's a guy who needs the ball in his hands. He doesn't work well off the ball. Like we want the ball in Brunson's hands, not Randle's hands. So the way we're able to move Randle, move his money too, he was up for a contract next year. Get Cat, who's on a contract for at least the next 3 after this one. And the one piece I'm sad to lose is DiVincenzo, because I think he's a marksman. I think he's really good, and I like to fit on this team with the Nova boys. But bringing in Mikal Bridges, re-signing OG, and now bringing in Cat, I got to think that this team is the team to beat in the East. And if they stay healthy, which Bridges is a guy who plays, he doesn't get hurt much. I know OG and Cat have some possible issues. But I love the way they went out and got Cat, because Robinson was hurt to start the year anyway. So you're going to need a center. And listen, when Robinson comes back, that's even better. So it just adds to the depth, adds to the team. I love this move. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but as a Knicks fan, to me, this actually gets me hyped for the regular season. I believe they just kicked off the preseason as well this week, or as we were talking about with Bronny.
Bron.
But off Bron on the Cat. How you feel about it? Either of you guys. Any thoughts? I know you're a Bulls fan, so you're not going to give 2 shits really.
Oh, no. I do have an opinion on the trade, but, I mean, Didn't get me excited.
But again, I like the fact that they didn't have to give up a lot of draft picks either. They didn't give up capital.
Yeah, that's true. But at first, I was very excited for the Knicks. I was like, damn, you're getting Cat. All the reasons that you just said. And then I started talking to a couple fans, and they're like, who the hell's going to score off the bench?
Deuce. That's what they're counting on. McBride to lead him.
Praying Deuce takes the next step.
And Josh Hart. Him and Josh Hart are going to
I think Hart's going to start. I think he's going to be the 2.
No, because you're going to have... I don't know. Maybe?
Because is OG going to be... OG's probably going to be your 3.
You got Bridges. You got Cat. You got...
Yeah, maybe OG's in your 4, and then Cat's your 5.
I don't think they're going to make OG a 4, though.
Then Bridges is your 4?
Bridges, maybe. But yeah, no, so maybe Hart's in the starting lineup, but I know that's probably where they're going to count on a lot of men. And the way Tibbs rides his guys, to be honest, he don't use a lot of the bench.
If Deuce can step up to the next step, which obviously the Knicks think that he could do. He did step up in the playoffs and have some good games. But Big Cat is also a big reliability when it comes to fouls. He picks up a lot of fouls very quickly. I don't necessarily love the move. I don't think this puts the Knicks at the top. I don't think this puts them over Boston at all. 100% do not. It definitely makes them maybe a little bit better than last year, but I don't see them as a championship team with this move. They're not. They need a little more depth, a little bit better of a bench.
Listen, I think they improved the bench with Cameron Payne. I like the re-signing of Achua. And again, getting Robinson back, and then you pair them with McBride. Like that's not a bad 4 coming off the bench.
I mean, if you have right, Tibbs runs a rotation of about 8 players, maybe 9, depending like earlier in the season. But once you get to the playoffs, he's running maybe 7. The Knicks are a team that if they can stay healthy, which is what really did it to them last year in the playoffs. I think if they were 100% healthy, that Knicks team...
They were beating Indiana.
They're bare minimum in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they would have gave Boston a run for their money. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, in my mind. I think this move gives them more firepower offensively in their starting lineup. Karl Anthony Towns at a pick and roll with Jalen Brunson. Towns can pop out to the 3-point line. He can cut to the hoop. He can shoot the mid-range game. Like Towns is a all-around offensive player. Defensively, he's not bad, but he's not going to shut down the opposing team's center.
But that's where Mitchell Robinson coming back when he does.
But that's the thing.
But
when Mitchell Robinson comes back, still, you want Towns in there as your starter. He's going to go against the starting center of the other team. You're not going to sub in and out all first 6-7 minutes of the quarter.
No,
you're not playing offense defense like it's the final 2 minutes of the game. So overall, I think this makes the Knicks a little better. Right? Like if we were doing Madden rating increases, this trade put them from an 89 to a 91 or a 92. What it does also tell me, though, is that it's the race in the East, because I just don't trust Philly. Philly may have a talented roster, but I don't trust Philly. So
I forgot about them.
To me, you're putting Boston still as your 1, right? Defending champs.
Knicks too.
Your Knicks are your number 2 team. I think this makes them the clear-cut number 2 team in the East. I think it probably puts them at maybe 5 to 6 in the NBA as a whole.
What it does, though, and the reason I put them right there with Boston, is they now have an answer for Porzingis, though.
Okay.
That's what Towns is. Towns is like a Porzingis type. He can guard that. He could step out, like you said. Like, they didn't have that last year. They didn't have anybody who could match up with Porzingis at all. They have it this year. So this year, I feel a little bit better about it. And like I said, I like the additions of Payne. I like the re-signing of Achua. I think that they have an okay bench. Like I don't see an issue with the bench. So I look at it like you said, Dave, he runs a tight rotation as is. So if you got these guys and then you have guys like McBride, Achua, and Payne coming off the bench, really those are your bench guys. Those are the 3. That's the 8-man rotation he's going to run. Because Achua's going to come in and spell Towns. You're going to have Payne come in, get Bridges, Brunson, whatever. You're going to, you're going to have Achua spell OG and Hart. Like, you're going to have, that's going to be his 8-man rotation. Like, everybody else you could pretty much forget about.
It simply boils down to...
Maybe a little of Jericho Sims.
Simply boils down to one thing and one thing only. Can they stay healthy?
Right now,
Tibbs has stayed true to his style. Yeah, Tibbs has stayed true to his style of coaching since he became a head coach in Chicago. He expects his guys to run into the ground every single night that they play. He does not believe in rest nights. He does not it's a man's game. You're going to play like a man. You're going to be out there every single night because it's your job and you get paid to do it. To me, if he could slightly adjust his strategy for the first half of the season, get to the All-Star break, right? Open up your rotation to 9 or 10. And after the All-Star break, you start tightening it up slowly but surely so that when you get to the playoffs, your guys aren't completely exhausted after an 82-game season to jump into what you hope is 4 or 7 game series. That's got to be the way to do it. Did anybody hear that?
Yeah, that was a bit interesting.
No clue what that was. Maybe we got a ghost on the line.
Maybe. But either way, I look at it, though, and Cat, the one thing about Cat is he's played for Tibbs already. Mm-hmm. So I feel like he's coming in. He's not going to have to get used to it. He already knows what to expect.
He might have to get used to it.
But he knows what's expected out of him, though.
Yes.
He knows he's coming in knowing the expectation, knowing the level, knowing what his body's going to have to go through.
Yes. While we're talking about this, though, did you see Randall and DiVincenzo's faces?
No.
When they did their first interview?
No.
Were they all shocked? Or?
No, they were just sitting there like...
depressed.
They were pissed as hell. They're like, I don't want to be in Minnesota. Like, no. Like, literally no interest in it. They look so miserable. I actually felt bad for him. They looked so... Like, DiVincenzo was, like, leaning back, like, me mugging. And Randall was kind of, like, sitting up, me mugging. Mm-hmm. And, like, you would have thought the two of them just, like, found out, like, they lost their pet goldfish or something. Like, they look so upset.
One more thing I'm just going to say. Since Leon Rose has taken over, he's done a lot of great things. Things have gone up for the Knicks. So I can't really argue what he's doing right now. As much as I just said, hey, I don't think they'd have enough depth, this or that. Everything he's done has been great. So maybe this does put them over. Maybe it does put them over the top. They've been waiting for some kind of... They've been waiting for some kind of superstar. Nobody really expected this, and look at that.
Randall was a stepping stone, so they got somebody who was a failed, honestly, he wasn't thought of as a star. He got him to
a certain spot.
He became a star when he came to New York and played the way he did. And then from there, they were able to bring in Brunson, who, again, Dallas was happy to get rid of for whatever reason, and the Knicks were able to sign him, and... and then he took off. So, I mean, they built stars themselves, and now those stars are starting to attract other ones. And I absolutely agree with you, Joey. Since Leon Rose came in, it's been a different Knicks team. This is what they needed to do. And to be honest, this finally quiets the crowd down of, Dolan's the worst. Dolan honestly didn't want to be involved in day-to-day things. That's why he hired guys like Phil Jackson, because he thought, hey, I hire Phil, I don't got to worry about this. He's going to run a great ship. Look at what he did. Blah, blah. No, it didn't work out right. But this time he got it right. He got it right with Leon Rose. He's gotten it right with the Rangers, too. Because you don't hear about him. You don't hear... For years, all we heard was Dolan. He's got to sell the team. Listen to him in the media. Listen to him here. He didn't want it. As much as everybody put it on him, he didn't want it. He wanted to hire the right guys. He wants to go play with his sphere out in Las Vegas. He wants to go play his music and do other things. He doesn't want to sit there and do day-to-day operations. He'll do it if he has to, but he doesn't really. That's not what he's there for. So he tries to get the right guys, and Leon Rose, absolutely the right guy. And the team has just gone up since then. But And the one thing you don't hear about anymore is Dolan, and I think that's the best news. So from there, I mean, we can move on because I think it's time. We're all over this. But the one thing I got to bring up before we hit football is we talk about it every week, week after week, and we're going to keep talking about it because they haven't finished their season yet.
No, they did not.
No, they did not.
But we stay in New York.
Close to the finals.
But we are staying in New York.
Yeah, we are.
And I mean, I'm all for, like, they're probably the only local team outside of the Mets that I would root for, and that would be your New York Liberty. Like, come on, ladies, it's revenge series, revenge season for you guys. Let's go.
I don't have a WNBA sound, so I'll just play this one again. But no, yeah, it's the Liberty are a team on a mission. The Lynx and the Sun play tonight. Their rubber match are tied 2-2. Winner will face off against the Liberty. Yeah, but this is honestly the Liberty's to lose. They've had an unbelievable year, and
They were the best team all year.
And with Sabrina Ionesco, Brianna Stewart, they're phenomenal, and they're gonna lead this team to a title, in my opinion. But who they're gonna play, I'm not sure yet. But I mean, I think you guys are all with me.
First New York title in 13 years.
It's gonna be, and you know what? It'll be well deserved because they've kicked ass all year. And I hope that they get some love from New York and the fan base. And, listen, I hope that the WNBA continues to grow even when Caitlin Clark's not there, because, honestly, these women have been great all year. And they've, they deserve it. So I just hope that people give them that credit. And, and I hope New York shows them some love when they bring home that title.
I do, too. And I think it couldn't have unfolded better for the WNBA, specific with New York making it back to the finals. And I simply say that because if there's any market that's going to come out and support this team, it's a New York market, right? So whether it be ratings wise or people in the stands or a combination of the two, I think we're definitely, like, the WNBA set up really well to be in a position that the Liberty were able to make it to the finals. Because I think that'll help ride the ratings boost that they've received so far this year. With that said, though, I mean, I still don't think they're going to put up numbers like they would put up if Caitlin Clark was still playing. I mean, the numbers have dropped off a little bit, but they're still having one of their most highly viewed playoffs.
All right, good.
That they've had in the history of the league. So, I mean, there is some positive to it. But the Liberty making it is definitely helps with what they got going on because of the market.
See, normally though, they aren't normally playing this late, right? They're only playing this late because of the Olympics.
Yeah.
Because right now they're kind of getting screwed by MLB playoffs, football, college football. So a lot of the eyes are elsewhere. I think next summer they're probably going to get a huge spike in ratings because the stage is just going to be on them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're about a month further in than they should, or a month calendar wise, they're further in than they should be. I believe. So
yeah,
and you're spot on, right? Like, they really they need this series to wrap, right? Because they need to get to the finals before you get further into the NFL season.
Yep.
Further into the MLB playoffs, and then you don't want the NBA and the NHL seasons kicking off, which is literally 3 weeks away. Like, they need this series to wrap so that they can get into the finals and get what ratings that that they can before we're in sports nirvana,
sports apocalypse,
where we have everything taking place all in one shot. So, but no, I'm rooting for the Liberty. I'm all for it. Somebody else that actually got their liberties today, but didn't want them. And I don't know how we don't start with this taking place in New York, or really one Jets drive, I should say, in Florham Park, New Jersey, which is
15 minutes,
only about 20 minutes,
20 minutes
from where we're sitting right now. It's only about a 6-minute drive from my office.
Cousin Jen turned us off the
and it's the firing on a Tuesday of Mr. Robert Saleh. I gotta say, I expected him to be fired. I did not expect him to be fired after week 5. So is there a level of surprise to me? Yes. Am I overwhelmingly surprised? No. But it's the first time since the Johnson family took over the Jets that they've ever fired a coach in the middle of a season. We were messaging about it earlier, right? The Jets are 2-3, 1 game behind in their own division, and they play the division leader this coming week. So to me, this moment brings two questions to mind. One, the level of how you're surprised, right? Scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably put myself at like a 6. And two, how much on a scale of 1 to 10 was this decision impacted or made, should we say, by Aaron Rodgers?
You want it first, Joey, since you're the Jet fan?
Go ahead. You're good.
All right, so the first part of that, on a scale of 1 to 10, how surprised am I? I'm about a 2. I'm not surprised at all. If you saw the chemistry that they've had on the sidelines, like there's no like it's been awful. Everybody knows Aaron Rodgers has been steering the ship. Nobody's had any faith in Salah. And again, how can you have faith in the head coach when you're constantly getting undermined by the quarterback? And everybody's listening to the quarterback and not to you. And it's hard to coach in that environment. So I'm not surprised at all. This is the first time the Jets have ever fired a coach in season, which I find a little bit surprising. But I don't know why you do it, and then why you do it and promote the defensive coach behind Salah, the defensive coordinator, when clearly the offense is the issue here. And reports have come out that apparently Salah was going to fire Hackett, and instead the team fired Salah before Salah could fire Hackett. So it just shows you that if that rumor went around, I got to imagine it's probably real, because I imagine Aaron Rodgers said, "The fuck you are? No, you are not firing Hackett." And I bet you he called up Ambassador Johnson there and said, "I don't know what you're thinking about doing here, but Salah is the guy going, not Hackett." And I'm pretty sure that Woody said, "You know what? You're probably right about that." And, and then Salah got the boot. So I'm not surprised. 2 out of 10 on that. Is it an Aaron Rodgers move? As I just explained in my pretty much synopsis of how it went down, it's a 100 out of 10. If the scale goes to 10, he's still at 100. Like, he's 100% driving the ship. He's the absolute reason that Hackett isn't fired. The offense has been absolute trash. He threw 4 interceptions last week, and you're going to sit here and tell me that Salah and the defense were the problem? I'm sorry. You're not, Rodgers, you're not selling me on it. I'm sorry.
Think about what that defense did to that Minnesota offense.
Held them 16 points.
That's what I mean. 23-16 was the final.
They threw a pick 6.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. There's no game I'm getting up for at 9:30 in the morning.
No, I'm not. I'm not a Jet fan, so I wasn't. I did turn it on though. Once I did wake up, I mean, I threw it on, but then I kind of like did other things and whatever. Like, so, it was there in the background. But yeah, no, I couldn't really pay attention to it. I paid attention to it a little bit for Justin Jefferson just because I got him on some fantasy teams.
Fantasy, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, after they're 2-3, it's not like they're 0-5. How do you be 2-3? You're 2-3, and you're coming into one of the biggest weeks of the year on a short week, because aren't they playing Thursday night against the Bills? Or no, is it Sunday? Monday against Monday.
No,
I knew it was a primetime game. I don't know why.
Thursday
I thought it was Thursday.
San Fran, Seattle.
All right. So even still, on a Monday night, you're gonna fire your coach the week before, and then think you're gonna get up for Buffalo? I'm sorry. This, to me, isn't a winning move. I'm not 100% sure why Woody Johnson keeps buying whatever Aaron Rodgers is selling, but he better get out of the Aaron Rodgers business soon, or it's going to sink this team for years to come, because you're going to lose guys like Wilson. You're wasting Hall the same way we wasted Saquon Barkley's career. This is the window, and you're literally throwing it out the window. Like, you're like, here's the window of opportunity, and you're just getting thrown right out of it because you're sticking with Aaron Rodgers. Tell me I'm wrong. It's the one thing
they won't let Aaron throw, though. Because he's throwing picks, and he's not throwing anything, no touchdowns. But they're like, Aaron, we're not going to let you throw this up either. Crap. Yeah, Joe. I mean, Joe, you're the one with an actual, some level of an emotional connection to this franchise. So
hit us with it.
I don't know about it.
Hit me with your best shot.
So as far as shocked, yeah, I'm a little shocked. 5 weeks in, 2-3. Yeah, I'd go up 5, 6 on the shock scale, because who would have thought that? However, after losing to Denver last week and losing this week in London, where Ambassador Johnson used to be, maybe he was a little embarrassed this week getting beat up in
I
London.
forgot he was the U.S. ambassador.
He was.
So-
Maybe he was at the game. Maybe he had some friends at the game, and they were.
But they were playing the hottest team in the NFL.
It doesn't matter. Look, 2-3. This is a letdown this year. This team should be 4-1 or 3-2. Should have a winning record. They had no business losing to Denver last week. I understand. I'm with you. The offense. There's been nothing wrong with the defense. However, head coach is responsible for everything, right? Right?
Not when you have Aaron Rodgers.
He's
Not because he's not responsible.
Everything.
But he's not. He was hired as a defensive head coach. His job is not coming up with offensive game plans, blocking schemes.
It's not.
That's
on Hackett. And
Why is
Hackett
that
was
not the
supposed to
case?
come in and
However,
be this
doesn't
mastermind
matter.
with Rodgers.
I never wanted Hackett to begin with. We're all saying the same thing. Rodgers is running the show. Are you rather going to go with a guy who won a Super Bowl, who's been to how many NFC championship games? Are you going to take his back as Woody Johnson? Or are you going to take Robert Sala's back, who's won 20 freaking games in 4 years for you, who hasn't done a goddamn thing good on this freaking team? He can't develop any goddamn freaking talent offensively. I hate you, Robert Saleh. Not as a person, because I'm sure you're a great dad. I'm sure you're a great individual. You seem like you want to be everybody's best friend, but you're a goddamn NFL football coach. These guys make millions of money. You hold them accountable, and you don't hold anybody accountable. You let you want to be best friends with everybody, yeah. That's not how it works, bro. You're not a good head coach. You might be a good defensive coordinator. You are a terrible head coach. I am so happy to see you gone. I have no idea if Jeff Ulbrich is the right answer. I have no clue. Nathaniel Hackett is not the right answer. I freaking know that, because he was an awful head coach for Denver.
So
The
bad.
worst.
So
Who
bad.
else is there? A special
So
teams
bad.
guy? Blow this whole thing up. I hope the team
But
sucks.
is it a
Blow
coaching
it up,
problem,
bro. Yes.
or is it?
Yes, it's a coaching problem, 100%.
Let me put it to you this way.
Nope.
Just
It's
give
a
me 2
coaching
seconds.
problem.
Give me 2 seconds.
Coaching problem.
It is a coaching problem, but is the coaching problem coming from higher up? And I'm saying that because
Like
is
Woody?
it Woody or is it the GM? I forget who the GM is.
Joe Douglas.
Joe Douglas. Hear me out on this.
Go.
Todd Bowles
Sucks.
fired. Doing pretty damn good down in Tampa. Doing pretty damn good.
Second time head coach. And he learned under Bruce Arians as well.
But I'm just saying. So, but he wasn't terrible with the Jets either.
Yes,
what
he
I'm
was.
saying, he
also
wasn't.
didn't
He
have
wasn't.
good talent. They screwed Todd Bowles, in my opinion, because 2016 they were supposed to suck. And they
I'm just
didn't, and
saying.
they
I
almost
wouldn't
went to
be
the playoffs
surprised
with
if
Ryan
Saleh went
Fitzpatrick.
somewhere else and had success.
And they were supposed to like get a team for him, and they just kept it going. But anyway, go ahead.
Dave, back to your 1 to 10 scale. 1 to 10, Saleh has success somewhere else. And
Zero.
I think
As a head coach?
as
Zero.
a head coach.
It-
If he ever gets a head coaching job, which may not be next year,
I can't say
may not
zero.
be a
He's
year
definitely not
after,
getting a head coaching job for at least
say
2 to
zero.
3 years.
He's got to be like Raheem Morris, bro. Go back, be a defensive coordinator. Prove that your defense is amazing once again, and that you've learned a little bit, and then you can go be a head coach again.
And one more question for the both of you.
And I'm sorry to drop that.
I
How
agree with- but
fast-
You nailed it. I agree with it.
If you are Buffalo, do you call Robert Saleh and hire him this week?
As something,
An advisor
I'm
or
with
something?
you on that 100%. That
Not
would
playing
actually-
until Monday night.
I mean-
you fired him on Tuesday. He's got plenty of time to take the drive up
I honestly
87.
love that.
I mean, in all honesty, like from what you heard about how they escorted him out of the building, didn't let him say goodbye to the players, like, and the Jets still owe him. What was the?
Oh, I don't care about that.
No. What I'm saying is for his decision.
$20,000 a day?
Yeah, like so. Why not just go to Buffalo and be like, hey, I'll be a free consultant.
Yeah.
Jets
That
are paying
that
me.
would be awesome.
I'll sit right here and just help
Here's
you.
what,
You know,
funny.
here's what Rodgers and Hackett are going to do
yeah,
this.
like all you gotta do is give me a place to sleep and an office to work in. I'm good.
So look, I'm very fired up about this because they should have just fired him last year, and they didn't do that because Rodgers. They wanted to keep it all together. They all understand it's this year, Super Bowl or nothing. They're all. Rodgers said it earlier in the offseason.
Yeah, there's no way he's playing next
They're
year.
all gone if this blows up.
oh, you got
They're all
to
gone.
think that he's sorry he came back this year.
Rodgers doesn't respect Saleh. You
Never
saw
did.
that. You saw
Never
that
did.
Yeah,
in
when Rodgers had that one great play, when
They
they had
were-
their one
They
big
were
win.
up 2 scores, and Saleh
Yep.
went to hug him, and he was like, "Get the heck off me!
Yeah.
Like, what are you
Pushed
doing,
him,
bro?"
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you saw it right there. He doesn't respect them, and he's not waiting until week 10 to get Sala fired. Get it done now because he realizes it's this year or nothing. And I pray they don't get Devontae Adams because this is already a shit show.
Oh, you'd waste such draft
capital. And you're going to waste draft capital on it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stick with what you got. Let Devontae go to the Bills. Let him go to the Cowboys.
What if he went to the Chiefs?
They won't. The Chiefs would have to give up like 3 number ones for it.
Because the Raiders' asking price for the Chiefs would probably be higher than any other team in the league. I will say this, right?
Ravens.
To me, the Ravens would make that would.
I'll tell you what, though, that would almost be unfair. You add Derrick Henry and then you add Devontae Adams.
Lamar. I want Lamar to win one. I do. I want him to win it.
I don't. The only quarterback I want to win one is Dak. I don't give a shit about any other quarterback.
I do want Lamar to win one, but
Dak's got his own issues.
Apparently, Ulbrich is respected in the locker room by the coaches, the players. So we will freaking see. And on Hard Knocks, you saw he's got a spark to him. We will see. So I'm calling for a Jets victory on Monday.
No, definitely not.
I'm calling Jets victory Monday. Tortilla bet it is.
All right. Wow. There we go.
I mean, look, usually when a coach gets fired, one of two things happen. Either the team knows their season's over or the team knows their job's on the line and everybody's going to play their ass off.
The Indianapolis Colts a couple years ago won a game for Jeff Saturday on his first coaching. They lost the rest of them. But he won the first one.
But nobody's. Again, they rallied around Saturday because Saturday is a Hall of Famer. He's in the Ring of Honor. Saturday is a piece of Colts lore and legend. I can't even tell you who the defensive coordinator Jets boosted up is. So you're going to tell me they're going to rally around?
He's a former player.
They're going to rally around this guy. Yeah. On the defensive side of the ball, when we know, the only person who everybody better rally around Aaron and boost his ego because it's the only way this team is going to get anything done. If he's throwing 4 interceptions a week, they're never going to win that way. And he's not the same.
You're not wrong, Eric.
And they're not using Braylon Allen, and they're not using Breece Hall the way they should be.
They can't run the ball.
It should be a run-first defensive team. I hate these teams that get out of they can't get out of their own way. The Bears, like the Steelers, know what they are. They play. Tomlin knows what they are, and they play a Steeler way of football. Defense, run the ball, get in close games, pull them out. It's the reason he wins year after year after year after year because he knows the playbook. Do it, and they're going to be successful. Certain teams need to do that. To me, the Jets are a team that need to do that right now. They are best when they run the football and then use Aaron in strategic ways. Use him and have him throw 18, 20, 24 times. He shouldn't be throwing 40-plus times.
54 times he threw this week.
He should never throw 54 times. He shouldn't throw 54 times between warm-ups and the end of the game.
I mean, he does have a 40-year-old shoulder, so I would agree with that.
Health an issue. Why are you, again, you can't blame the offensive line. You could try, but I wouldn't blame them.
The next gen stats even say this is the most time he's ever had in his career to throw the ball.
And again, he's got receivers. He's got Garrett Wilson. He's got his buddy Lazard.
Lazard leads the NFL.
They went out and got Mike Williams. They got players. He's getting
better every week.
They have Conklin. They have players.
They have talent.
Why is it such a struggle, Joe? Why is it such a struggle?
I think this is what was supposed to happen last year. This is not playing with these guys, trying to figure out where people are supposed to be on the field. That's me. This was supposed to happen last year. But
yeah, no. So I mean, he has been terrible, and
so we'll see what happens in the future. But me and you have a tortilla bet for Monday. I say the Jets win. You're going with Buffalo. I think Buffalo effing sucks. Josh Allen is regressing in front of our eyes.
The way that they looked this past Sunday was, you were like, I was shocked.
9 of 30. 9 of 30.
But what's funny to me, right? Like, Buffalo loses that game, they still lead the AFC East. I still think they're probably the best team in the AFC East right now, and he goes 9 of 30 in a loss. And yet Dak Prescott's still getting torn apart more in the media than Josh Allen's getting torn apart.
Because the media is media
Well,
loves
America's
Josh Allen
team.
for whatever it is. I don't know what it is.
They love Josh
They love
Allen,
him.
and Dallas.
I don't
Dallas
get it.
gets
Dude,
you
kids
ratings.
nowadays, they're crazy for him. You don't know how many times I walk around now. There's so many kids, even in Jersey, are wearing Buffalo jerseys. They've gotten big into Buffalo, not the Giants, not the Jets, not the. There's a
fantasy.
lot of Buffalo kids around here.
That definitely plays a huge
But
part.
they are the team that needs Devontae Adams the most. You clearly see it. Josh Allen is lost without a top receiver. He's lost.
Every team would be though. To be honest,
Tom
receivers.
Brady wasn't.
Well, but again,
He
sir,
also never really had one.
he had
That's
a
it, yeah.
he had
And
a
then he had
system.
Brady.
They ran a system.
Yeah.
That's the thing though. Is nowadays the system was built with Allen and Diggs. The system was built with he had a receiver who he can count on. He doesn't have that now. Now Keon Coleman's been coming on a little bit,
And
not
Khalil
the same.
Shakir.
And Khalil Shakir. But I expect they're going to get right against the Jets this week and start to separate themselves from the East here.
Hence
but
the tortilla bet.
speaking of another team that seems to be
And
keeping
another
pace,
tortilla bet.
another tortilla bet where Dave, we'll save that slot for next week.
You owe me one, and I
have
owe
what-
you one.
Yeah, so
We have plenty to go around.
we got plenty to
I
go
owe
around.
You one. You owe me two.
But
you-
this game went, as I
yeah.
said, though, close game, and Dallas wins because Dallas was the better team.
Dallas
on the
should
field.
have blown them out of the water the way this game went, but those turnovers were just They were stupid for a veteran quarterback. For a guy that just got that huge contract, and look, I don't give a crap, right? The contract stuff, I understand. Like people on the social media are flipping out. That's paying him $60 million for that. But it's the market.
It's the market.
The people that cannot get through that through their freaking
The market's
heads.
going to correct at some point. I'm just telling you,
and
It's
that's
gotta.
fine. And that's fine. But the market sets the value, not just the play on the field. The market sets the value. So Dak got paid, and guess what? Brock Purdy this offseason, guess who's due for a contract? You think Brock Purdy's going to break $60 million a year? It's
No,
going
he's in a Super Bowl,
to
bro.
happen.
He went to a Super Bowl.
I'm telling you, I don't think San Fran's going to give him 60 a year.
Well, he better
I don't
pray
think-
then he gets 50.
Maybe, or maybe he goes the route of a
40?
Mahomes and says, "Listen, I'll take a little less because we got other
mean,
guys."
as-
that
as-
got
Mahomes
signed."
didn't do that at the time,
as
though.
Mr.
He
Irrelevant.
was top paid.
Yeah,
Mahomes said 10 years, 450, no problem. And now they just give him guaranteed money to help him.
I'm just saying
It was
that
one of the smartest contracts.
I think there's a smart way
quarterback.
that San Fran's going to go about it. I don't think they're just going to. I don't think it's going to be he's going to demand that much because to
you
be honest,
can't anyway. You're paying.
Look,
he's not.
if they-
but there's
if
never
they-
been a time. There's
if
never
they
been a
cave
time
to
we've.
Ayuk, if they cave to Ayuk, they're definitely going to cave to their fucking
Why
their
they could
quarterback.
draft another quarterback? They drafted Trey Lance. They didn't sign him. They
Yeah, because
drafted
he
Brock
sucked and
Purdy.
kept getting injured.
But listen, Brock Purdy hasn't been lighting up the field either lately. So again, he's
I'm
never a
interested to
guy
see
that you've
what
looked at
happens.
as a top QB. He's never a guy that's been a top 1, 2, 3 QB in the league.
He was number
Never
3 in MVP voting last year.
But again, did you really look at him and say, out of all the quarterbacks in the league, you're gonna
Statistically,
Last
he was
year,
a
I
top
did.
5 quarterback in
He proved it
completion
last
if you're
percentage,
starting
yards,
a team,
touchdowns.
if you're starting a team right now, is he even in the top 5 you're considering for your quarterback? No.
It depends. If
No.
you're Kyle Shanahan, maybe he is.
No.
I'm just saying.
But again, Kyle Shanahan runs a system. I
Correct.
think he could bring in.
That's what
So
I'm
it's
saying.
either Purdy, I think, is going to play ball, get a big deal, but not set new records, or I think that San Fran's the type of team where they say we could do just as good with somebody else, and they let him go. Listen, they've been through Garoppolo, they've been through Lance, and if they move on from Purdy, I'm sure they'll be just fine. They had Colin Kaepernick before that.
don't know
Again,
if
they've
they'll
been
be
all
close.
right for the last
That's
10,
tough.
12 years
That's
without
tough.
rotating through.
The only thing I will say, like, I will die on the hill that he gets a bigger contract than Dak Prescott. I can't die on the hill on it happening this offseason because this is his 3rd year, I believe. I think it's Purdy's 3rd year, so they have him for 1 more year.
No, it's this year. He gets paid.
Oh, they only have him for 3 years?
Yeah.
Oh,
If
'cause he
you're
was
a
a
late
7th.
pick, he was the last pick. I think, what is it, 4th, 5th, and 6th, 7th round picks?
Yeah,
all 3 years?
I don't know if we'd be able to access his actual contract, but I mean, that to me would be that's the determining factor.
Brock Purdy contract. Let's find out. Let's Google you.
Brock Purdy 4-year. Okay.
So this is year 4 then.
Yeah.
This is his 4th year in the league.
Drafted in 2022.
So his first year was 20. So he played in
2022, 2023, 2024. So
Oh,
he's
no,
got-
you're right.
No, this is
Sorry,
his
I
third year.
apologize.
So they've got him for one more year.
Mm-hmm.
But if he wants, he can blatantly say, "I want my contract now." I will not say that they will pay him this year because they also can franchise tag him. They can tag him again a second year. All of these options, right? If you play his last year of his rookie deal this next season and you franchise tag him 2 years in a row, you basically go the Kirk Cousins route. Like, you're in a position where, yes, it's going to cost you a lot of guaranteed money that directly counts against your cap. But simultaneously, in a 3-year time span, it's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than if you were to give him a 6-7 year deal.
And he's not going to get, to be honest, look at his stats. He's nowhere near getting a big deal.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying,
Like,
but
if you go to
and here's what I'm saying.
this year, he's
that's
not
this year.
great.
People are already regretting. I'm telling you, the leadership in Jacksonville is already regretting giving Trevor Lawrence that deal.
Oh, I
You're
would
not
agree
wrong.
with
Like,
that.
You're not
I would
wrong.
agree with
Miami is already regretting
See-
giving two of that deal. So what I'm saying is eventually these teams are going to get so capped out paying these quarterbacks that aren't very good a ton of money.
Well, they're stupid
and
for
then-
doing that.
But again, this is where the market's going to correct themselves because smart teams are going to go, I'm not going to be as stupid as they were. San Fran is a smart organization.
No, the smart teams are going to do what Kansas City did with Mahomes. You stop with your traditional 4, 5, 6 years. If you believe this is your guy,
10, 15
you
year
give him
deal,
a
bro.
10-year contract. And yeah, the number looks massive, but like Joey said, right? So when Mahomes first signed, it was 10 years, $450 million, $45 million a year with blah, blah, blah amount guaranteed. Every single year, they move his salary, a bunch of his salary into a signing bonus, and he re-signs his contract. They don't extend it back to 10 years. They just redo the contract from that point on, so he gets more money up front.
I get it.
Opens up cap space. That, to me, that's the smart move. If you have the guy that you say, you're it, I don't want anybody else, that's the way you go.
But are you looking at Purdy and saying that's it? And I don't think San Fran is. I don't think Purdy, they're looking at him as a future Hall of Famer. I don't think they're looking at him as a Ring of
Very
Honor
true.
in 15-year type guy. I don't see
Most NFL experts think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league with
He fits your
his
system.
anticipation and what he's able to do. Agreed.
He really does.
Right? He learned the system, he figured it out, and he plays it as well as you basically can play it. I mean, statistically last year, he was basically a top 5 quarterback in every important quarterback statistic. He's still number 7 right now with a rough start, not the best start to the year. He's still 7 in QBR. Like that. I mean, when you have a quarterback that's top 10, you don't just give that up and hope you could draft the next guy. You don't do it. And he's consistently played very well for the last two seasons and 5.
I just don't
5
see him
games.
getting 60. I'm just telling you. I just don't think he eclipses
This
60.
website I went to calculated he's right now at a $55 million average. I don't know how the website calculated that, but it said his market value is $55 million a year.
But even still, 55 is less than 60. What I'm saying is, I don't think he breaks 60. I don't think he breaks with that guy. I don't think he's worth it to break with that guy.
In that system, he is.
If he continues to play how he's played the last 2 years, he breaks 60.
It also depends. They're paying.
I think they go
McCaffrey,
your
they're
route
paying-
where they franchise him, and then worry about it. So I think we got 3 more years of Purdy before they really got to worry about a contract. So I 100% agree. I think that's the smart way they
say
do
2.
about it.
I think Debo's gone after this year because
I
of the
agree.
money they
Especially
gave
the way-
Ayuk.
It's
Like,
one of the.
But
yeah,
I think,
it could be
again, I
well.
think they're learning their lesson from Ayuk, too. He hasn't come in and lit the league on fire
I
since
mean,
he got that money.
he had his best game this past week.
And
Okay,
There's
great.
no
1
doubt
out of
about it.
5.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
no, he has not had a great year
Are we
so far.
also
But
saying the first 3-4 weeks aren't preseason for the starters?
When I'm paying a guy $30 million, I expect you to show up ready game 1.
Eh,
Justin Jefferson showed up ready game 1. Other players who
Jefferson
played,
didn't
he
hold
didn't hold
out.
out.
but again,
Hold
if-
in whatever it is now.
whatever it
I
is.
mean,
but if you're not
Ayuk
on the
didn't
field practicing,
he didn't play.
Yeah, bro.
He did nothing to get ready. I mean,
and
I'm sure
I
he
think,
worked. Like
I think
you saw
San Fran is
CeeDee Lamb.
regretting that now. I think San Fran's looking
I
back
don't.
with revisionist eyes, saying, "Man, I kind of wish we didn't give this guy the 30 and
I
let
think
him
their
walk."
revision
So-
history is, damn, we shouldn't have paid Christian McCaffrey $20 million a
So
year.
I'm going to say this, right? This is a rabbit hole we can go down for hours on end,
No,
right? So
McCaffrey's worth more to me than Mayuk.
So I'm
I
gonna
get that. but
say this, right?
When he does, they're the best offense in the league.
I'm gonna say this really quick. We've talked about the Jets. We briefly scratched the surface with the Cowboys. Dallas should have blown that game out. The yards they put up on one of the top defenses in the league was nothing short of impressive. The injuries
Tolbert, too,
yeah,
bro.
the injuries continue to stack up, but a game-winning drive by Dak Prescott. The defense with a whole bunch of no-namers basically held
up
that
without
Pitts.
Lawrence
I mean,
and Parsons.
I am not going to get excited about holding down the Steelers' offense. They are nothing scary. They can run the ball, and Dallas played decent run defense with a whole bunch of guys that you really don't know who they are. The Giants, though. To go into Seattle.
Oh, look at this
Now, what I will say is, man, did they get away with a penalty on the blocked field goal? Dude, man, on the other side held guy down so dude could jump over him. Well played the rules. It was awesome. But overall, I mean Seattle gave the ball to Kenneth Walker only 9 times. That's on them. Geno Smith with some really dumb plays, but 7 sacks by the defense, the blocked field goal for the win. You got to give the Giants credit, man. That's a big win on the road against a good team. That I don't know what the rolling of the eyes are.
Please say something. I need to know what's going on.
They dominated. Absolutely smacked around to the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
Okay. I was waiting for him to be like,
barely
oh.
escaped with a win. I literally texted my group of buddies.
I was so happy that he was happy. It sounded like you were happy. You got me bad on that, bro. I thought you were genuinely like, they smacked the Seattle Seahawks. I was like, yeah, Eric got to enjoy the Giant game, and you take out of it,
They dominated the first half. They had I think it was like in the 30 minutes of play in the first half. Seattle had the ball for like 8 minutes, I think. It was something absurd.
Your first drive was 10 minutes, and then
the time of
Gray
possession.
fumbled.
It was unreal. Then he not only fumbled, but he gets returned 102 yards for a touchdown. And we go into the half after dominating the half because we controlled the ball the rest of the time. Let it play score. We go into half after dominating, destroying, going West Coast and kicking the crap out of the 12th man with a 10-10 tie at the half.
So it's football, man. You never know.
And that's why you're sitting there going, wow, they played that good in the first half, and it's only. And I said they played that good in the first half, and it's only 10-10. It's only 10-10. So I said, what do they got to play like in the second half to actually get a win? And thankfully they did it. And I don't care about a missed penalty because there's missed penalties.
Oh, they're all
the
over
time.
the place. Oh yeah, no. I'm not trying to take away from the Giants' win. That was well played.
Legal.
This is a good win for this team.
Pushing them down is legal.
I didn't think you could.
This is a good win. It's a win that they have to have. If they want to get to 8-9 wins this year, 7 wins even. If they want to be have a chance at anything come the end of November and still be in it, then this is a game that you win. And they did. And they shut down DK Metcalf. They frustrated the shit out of him all day. Geno Smith didn't look right, especially in the first half. And I'll tell you what, this team is... They look good. The defense.
Dexy, bro. He had 3 sacks.
I'm sorry. I have a hard time calling a man sexy Dexy.
Bro, when your name is Dexy, what are you supposed to run with?
Not only when your name is Dexy, but when you got moves like that.
He could be D-Law. He doesn't have to be sexy Dexy. I don't know. To me, it doesn't scream toughness.
Jump on it, bro.
It's not like,
Jump on it.
Yeah, he did. He thankfully. And the defense came to play. So it was a good win for this team. It extends Dable for sure. And, Dable's another guy on the hot seat, though. He's going to get canned before Shane gets canned. And I wish that, they kind of can the GM first. I actually don't mind Dable as much. But I know that he's going to be the first scapegoat to fall.
If they really fall apart, yeah. I think if they just miss the playoffs, they're going to give this.
And what I need people to do is back up off Daniel Jones right now. I need him
becoming a believer of Daniel Jones.
No, I need everybody who. No, I need everybody who is to back up off it. I need you to get up off your knees.
I mean, you lost without your best offensive weapon, or you won without your best offensive weapon. I mean,
But we did
And a
exactly
fumble that
every
led
week,
to a
bro.
touchdown.
It's
I
getting
mean,
better
there are
every
several things to take
You
out
and
of this
Timmy
game.
hate him. I'm telling you.
There's
told you guys,
several
let him
things
get
to take out of
we
this game.
scored 29 points this week.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and not
It
all of
should've been
those were by the
36.
offense.
30, it should have
And
been
not
36.
all, but not all of those were by the offense.
Oh yeah, the safety
We had
and then
safety,
the
and
block
then we had
field
the
goal
block
for the touchdown.
So
Oh,
we
okay.
scored 20 points on offense. We are still
Should've been
not
27.
humming. I'm sorry. Then you look at it. Geno Smith, 284 in a TD on 4. But I want to look up and see what Daniel Jones was.
He's
real
getting
quick.
better every week, bro. He really is.
23 of 34, 257, 2 TDs, had a better game. The star of the game, though, Tyrone Tracy, and I forget who told me, but somebody told me preseason. Might have been my cousin
It's
Michael.
probably Fife.
No, I think it was my cousin Michael. And that, because somebody told me they knew somebody who was on the Giants staff who talked about Tracy becoming a real player for them by week 6.
I watched him in the preseason. He looked really good, and also I gotta say, Wan'Dale Robinson getting him at like a 15th round draft pick in fantasy though, well worth it, man.
I don't care
Well
about
worth
fantasy.
it. I know you don't care about
I gotta
fantasy.
be
I'm
honest,
just
we
saying
gotta
for
get
me.
over fantasy.
I'm just saying for me. I mean, the guy's basically a walking 15
Yo,
points.
how about
No.
Slayton, bro?
Slayton was the guy. Gray had that unbelievable first drive, but then after that fumble, he pretty much went missing, and it
Yep.
became Tracy's game. But Slayton was the guy who really stepped up. Not Wan'Dale Robinson. Not the guy everybody expected to step up and be like, oh, Wan'Dale's the guy. No, it's actually Slayton who stepped up and was the guy. Slayton's actually got the best rapport with Daniel Jones, and that's why
Yes,
he
he
looked
does.
okay
Yes,
this
he
week.
does.
And he's starting to get that development with Neighbors, too, but now with Neighbors, concussion protocol, whatever, I think he'll be back next week. We'll wait and see. But it's not like this team is still lighting anybody up.
Seattle only run the ball 11 times in a game that was tied at half.
That's it.
That's like that is
They didn't
bad
play.
coaching.
They didn't play their game of. They didn't play Seattle style of football. Again, they didn't run the ball. They didn't control the clock. They got behind early, and then they tried to play catch up. And that's not their style. That's not Geno Smith style. That's not Seattle style. And to be honest, that's what hurt them this week. So the Giants were able to catch a pretty decent Seattle team, get a win, but I still don't look at this Giants team as like world beaters right now. I still think that Daboll's on the hot seat. And going into next week, I'm just hoping they can keep some of this magic. With Neighbors there, without, I think they got to find more room for Slayton on the field. And I think they got to find less room for Robinson. I'm tired of hearing about the game breaker that Robinson is or can be. He doesn't do it. He drops a lot of passes. He is not reliable. And I'm sorry, but I would rather Slayton seems more reliable. We
Slayton
know
drops
Neighbors
him too.
We know Neighbors had a couple drops. Everybody drops the ball though. I can't sit here and worry. DK Metcalf has led the league in drops since he came in, and he is still looked at as a top receiver. Again, there are going to be drops. It happens. But again, Daniel Jones doesn't throw perfect balls all the time either. So drops are going to happen. You know,
Very true.
I mean,
you know what was nice to see? Theo Johnson to get involved. The tight ends really haven't been getting involved all year. Getting them involved opens things up.
But I look at it, they're playing Sunday night against the Bengals this week.
That should be a dub. Their defense has been awful.
Speaking of which, I mean, we might as well get to.
Offense has been kicking ass.
We might as well get to some picks here.
I agree, and I just want to say, I just need a yes or no on this question before we move to next week and do our picks. Caleb Williams, sign of what's to come or a sign of what it is to play a Carolina defense?
Sign of a terrible Carolina defense.
Joey?
It was like the DJ Moore revenge game too. I'm gonna say things to come.
And I'm going to go with Eric for right now. I'm going to say sign of playing a very bad Carolina
It
defense.
is a very bad Carolina
And you do add a good point. It was a DJ Moore revenge game, which lets you know that they schemed up things to get Moore open. And Moore is a very talented wide receiver. So I am with you, though, Eric, because that Bake City that is at home waiting for me is I'm starting to hear make whispers in my ear. So I am ready for some game picks and doing about 90 on Route 80 to get home.
I'm kicking it off then with the game picks here, and
Timmy also agrees with you two about terrible Carolina D.
Terrible Carolina.
Shout out, Timmy. Thanks for joining us, brother. You missed it. We got up to 6 people in the chat before, Timmy. You could have ran it for us.
Yeah, you would have been proud. In the meantime, though, I'm going to go with this first game here, and I want to see if Timmy agrees in the chat. Giants at home against the Bengals. I don't love this game as a Giant fan. And I know we're coming off a win in Seattle. I know I should be feeling better about this team. I'm thinking we're going to have neighbors back next week. But it's Sunday night. And it's against a Bengals team that played a really good game against the Ravens. I think they're on the verge of turning this season around. Burrow's finally getting in the groove of things. Chase is getting in the groove of things.
Got a nice little connection.
Moss, Brown, like what they're doing in the backfield too, is working. They're not as bad as their record says they are, and that's what scares me. I don't know. I can't trust the Cincinnati team right now, honestly, and for that reason, I'm going to have to pick against the Giants. I'm going to pick the Bengals to win this week, although my heart will be with the Giants, and I'm going to hope they can pull out another nice win. I just don't see this Bengals team dropping to 1-5. Or
1-5. Yeah, they're 1-4 right now.
I don't see them dropping that low. They're too talented. They're too good. And I think it's time they start making a push probably for a wild card.
Their defense is trash.
Our offense is trash.
But your offense, if the one thing your offense has shown all year long is that they can move the ball. Usually finishing in the red zone is your offense's biggest problem. Cincinnati is a team that is struggling in the red zone. They're struggling in between the 20s. Their defense is struggling across the board. Baltimore literally tried to hand Cincinnati that game like 3 different times last week, and they were like, no, you take it. We're good. Like, we'll take the one when we play in Cincinnati. Or did they play in Cincinnati? I don't know. Whatever. Either way.
They played in Cincy.
So, like, I get what you're saying, right? Like, when this year started, I would have, like, I'm not a gambling man, but I would have put a lot of money saying Cincy would win this game. The Giant, being a Sunday night game, being a primetime game, is why I'm going to go Cincinnati. Because Jamar Chase and that team, Burrow, Higgins, just some of the players on that team, for the last several years have been crazy on primetime games. Daniel Jones has consistently struggled in primetime games. He'll make a play here, make a play there, and then he'll do some boneheaded play that makes you just be like, how did you even make it to the NFL? So give me Cincinnati, but I do think it's a tight one. I do think that Neighbors is back, and I do think, though, overall that we're going to see what could actually be a somewhat entertaining game. I mean, if the Giants' offense shows up, that we saw in aspects of the last couple weeks, it could be one hell of a game. So, yeah, give me the Bengals on the road, and really, I agree. They're just not a 1-4 team. I do think they're better than that.
Sorry about that. First off, Timmy says he's picking the Bengals, but he's always rooting for the G-men to win.
It's in your heart. You can't. I never root against them. I will sit here on Sunday and I will root for them. Even though I picked the, I will root for them because I don't agree. You should never root against your team. Again, never a big fan of tanking. It just something doesn't rub me the right way, like wishing my team would lose every week.
I got you.
There's a few times where maybe late in the year I say, this win, if we don't get it, it's not the worst thing in the world. But at the same time, I'm still always wanting my team to win. That's where I'm at here. So I agree with Timmy. But
I mean, look, I picked Pittsburgh. Did not want to get slapped by a tortilla, but I still rooted for the Cowboys to win. Joey, why don't you take the next game?
Well, I didn't even say this game.
Oh, I thought you said Cincy. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying.
Timmy took.
Timmy took Cincy.
My bad.
It's all good. Screw it. I'm going Giants.
All right, Joey said, "Give me the G-men." Riding the momentum of a huge win in Seattle.
I think Cincinnati defense is god awful. So give me the.
Should I give you your game to pick, Joey?
He already picked that game.
You picked that game already?
Yeah.
No, not the Giant game.
Yeah.
Game below.
Yeah, he picked that already.
Me and you have a tortilla bet on it.
Well, yeah, no, I don't know if is that going to be your pick for the week.
Why would I pick that game?
All right.
I ain't picking that game.
This
Sure.
is an interesting game.
I mean, that's going to be mine. So
All right, so we'll go to our next.
I'll hold myself accountable to have to pick that.
All right, let's do it.
I mean, Cowboys, Lions, Dallas.
In Dallas.
Dallas still beat up. Lost their number 2 or their second pick of this past year's draft to a knee injury. Thankfully, avoided a serious injury. And I think that when you look at this matchup, I just think Detroit right now is playing better football. They're the better team. They're the healthier team. I mean, Goff's literally coming off of an 18 for 18 performance.
He's due to throw an incompletion.
I mean, yes. That I would. Look. If we're making tortilla bets on whether or not Goff throws an incompletion, I'm taking he throws an incompletion. That I will take. But I could see Montgomery and Gibbs each going over 100 yards in this game. I could see the tight end Laporta getting his first touchdown of the season. I don't know if Dallas's defense can slow this offense down, nor do I think Dallas's offense can be in a position where they have to constantly throw the ball, and it just Detroit matches up so well with what you've seen out of Dallas in the first 5 weeks, and I have to take Detroit. It's not me being a downer on Dallas. I just genuinely think right now Detroit's playing better football, and they're very well equipped to be able to beat Dallas with the shape that Dallas is in right now. If Dallas had Lawrence and Dallas had Parsons and Dallas was healthy, I'd probably go with Dallas. I actually would, but I can't.
As a Dallas fan, have you heard any rumors about anything going on between CeeDee Lamb and Dak?
I mean, everybody freaked out about whatever he was saying to Dak on the sideline after that interception. But like, if you actually watch it, he literally just says "jump ball forward, jump ball. I got you." If you actually watch it, that's all he says. I don't think there's any drama between the two of them. I think simply what you have is two guys that are very competitive, and more importantly, two guys that when they had training camp together last year and they had all their stuff, they came out on fire and didn't stop all year long until the playoffs, because for some reason they didn't want to throw CD the ball during the playoffs. But other than that, and I think you're going to see CD had a really good game against the Giants. He started the first half of the game against Pittsburgh hot as hell. He had 6 receptions in the first half. And then he fell off the board, and that's where Tolbert and Turpin and other guys on their team stepped up, which is biggest issue Dallas has had, is that it's CD or nobody. So seeing those other guys step up is huge. That is great to hear. It's great to watch. It's great to see. It's just not enough for this week to be able to keep up with Detroit and what they can do.
Go ahead, Joey.
Dude, it is so tough to pick these games, man, because it's only Tuesday. It's not like we have the injury report that comes out or anything like that. You've brought up amazing points.
I try.
I'm going Detroit. Plain and simple.
I'm going Detroit too. Or no, I'm sorry. I'm not going
You're
Detroit.
Going Cowboys.
I'm going the Cowboys, but I'm going the Cowboys at home because I don't think Jerry is going to let this team start 0-3.
Oh,
I think heads are going to roll. I think if they start 0-3 at home or 3-3 on the year, McCarthy we know is on the hot seat already. Does he get a little froggy? Does he get a little squirrely knowing the Jets are out there looking for a new head coach already? Do they say we want to jump on this bandwagon early? Can we get some calls into Belichick now?
Woody Johnson calls Jerry like, "Hey, fire McCarthy. We'll hire him. You go get Belichick. Everybody's happy."
Oh my god!
Tell me,
I don't want Belichick as a head coach.
As an owner, tell me Jerry Jones isn't sitting there in the back of his mind. If the Cowboys struggle, they go 0-3 at home, they're 3-3 on the year. He's already thinking about letting McCarthy go. You're telling me he doesn't think in his head, well, wait a second, the Jets just let somebody go.
No.
Jerry's
out there.
I promise,
you don't think that he goes, I want to make that call before what he does?
I promise you, Jerry will not fire McCarthy. They're not. If they played the first 5 games the way they played the first 2 games, then we'd be having a different conversation. But they're playing tough games. They're winning tough games. They got blown the hell out in their first 2 games.
This is going to be another tough game, in my opinion. And I don't see him starting 0-3 at home. So for that reason and that reason alone, I'm going the Cowboys this week.
It'd actually be their 4th home loss in a row after the playoff game against Detroit.
So I just don't see that
Green Bay.
trend wanting to continue for Jerry.
That's crazy.
I think he's going to have a little extra motivation for them. Lions on the road playing a 425. Again, I just look at it. I think this is a week where the Cowboys they end up 4-2, Lions 4-2. Everybody's
I would love Dallas to win this game, go 4-2 into their bye week before they have to go through their gauntlet of a schedule after it. San Fran, Philly, like this start, like the Pittsburgh game, like their season. Like it was, going from Baltimore to the Giants, that was a little break that they got. But basically, you got Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Detroit. Then they get their bye week. Then I believe it's Philly, Buffalo, or not Buffalo, Tampa Bay. I don't know. Like they have a hell of a schedule ahead of them. So they need to get wins where they can because they're going to be hard to come by as the year goes on, unless they can get healthy and stay healthy. I mean, don't forget their rookie starting left tackle may not play this week either, because he hurt his knee. So their number one, their first round draft pick and their second round draft pick both got injured in the game against the Steelers. You got no Parsons. Parsons is not expected to play this week. Lawrence is on injured reserve. Their one glimmer of hope is they're hoping to get Deron Bland back so that they got Bland and Diggs on the outside, but I don't think they bring Bland back until after the bye week. So, yeah, I'm all for it. Like I said, I hope you are so right about this game pick. I just don't think Dallas can be able to stop the run game, and that's what's going to kill them.
This is what I wish the Jets had, that power run game.
Yeah, it'd be really nice. And to have two running backs as good as Gibbs and Montgomery as well would be nice. But I do think, I will say this, and I think we get to the game Joey wants to pick. I will say this. If Dallas doesn't have Dowdle be the lead back and they get away from this ridiculous running back by committee strategy that they're doing, then McCarthy should get fired. Because it would be Dowdle showed you. Now, it helped a lot that Pittsburgh didn't have Highsmith, I believe his name is. He was out for the game, and then their other outside linebacker that was just killing the Cowboys' offensive line, he got injured and left the game, and that really opened things up for Dallas's run game. But Dowdle's got to be your go-to guy moving
Agreed,
forward.
bro. He's been getting better and better each and every week.
You got to get the hell away from this freaking running back by committee crap.
And maybe that's what they were doing. They had this, what the heck is it called? You got to feed him a little more every game.
And they still got Dalvin Cook sitting on the practice squad.
Exactly.
You want to know why he's still sitting there?
Just in case someone gets hurt.
Just in case somebody gets hurt. And you know what's going to happen? Not a damn thing, because teams can come scoop him off the practice squad.
That's right.
There's 31 teams that have the opportunity to go take Dalvin Cook away from Dallas, and not a single one of them's doing it. That should tell you all you need about Dalvin Cook and where NFL GMs and talent evaluators look at him. But, Joey, go from one NFC East team to another.
Yeah, we're going with the Beltway Bowl this week, everybody. That is what the Washington Commanders and the Baltimore Ravens play. That is what is called the Beltway Bowl.
I hate driving through that beltway, by the way. You know what I'm talking about? You've ever gone down 95 and you go through Baltimore and you got to go through DC and all? It the
sucks.
shittiest part of the drive. Like, I specifically time it out so that I go in like the middle of the night, because otherwise, if you try to go during the day, even at night, the traffic sucks. During the day, it's gridlock. It's a mess. You got to go through tunnels. You got to go around this way, hop that way, do this. You do the do-si-do and you turn yourself around before you get out the other side in Virginia. I don't get it. I don't want it.
It's
awful.
terrible. Well, there's awful.
This game is going to be the best part of the Beltway, though.
There you go. We got the 4-1 Commanders versus 3-2 Ravens. Commanders have been super surprising with Jaden Daniels and their proficient offense.
There you go.
Efficient, right?
Proficient. They've got more touchdowns than they do punts. I think they have more. They're like top
more
5.
Touchdowns and incompletes or something like that.
Yeah, it's insane with some of the things that they're doing.
Cliff Kingsbury has found his quarterback. He's so happy. I know that's not I know that's not Commanders
he
head
doesn't
coach,
have to be a head coach anymore. See,
yes, he just
there are
works on
guys
the offense.
again. He was an okay college coach. Got gig in the pros because he was coming in with Kyler Murray, that kind of thing. They thought that was going to click. It didn't work out right.
And
like
did
you
he
said,
coach Patrick Mahomes? Isn't that why they
years ago. So you're right though. He found his quarterback, but he also found his niche because again, some guys aren't head coaches. He's an offensive coordinator, and he's doing it really well with this young Commanders team who This rookie QB has come in and he's lighting things up. He's looking like
Yes,
rookie of
he
the
is.
year. He's getting MVP candidate considerations.
Conversations, yeah.
Right now he's that good. They're 4-1 on the year. Had a hell of a start. Nobody picked him to be at the top
No
of this
way.
division.
Absolutely not.
And this is a hell of a game, Joey. So
I'm going Ravens. I think the rookie's going to finally play like a rookie. He's getting his first crack at a really top team in the NFL. And I think he comes down to earth a little bit. So I'm giving the Ravens the win here.
Yeah, who have the Commanders actually even played? Can you pull that up real quick? I can't.
I know they
remember
played
who
the Browns last week.
The Browns are the Browns.
Yeah, they are the Dookie Browns this week.
Bucks, Giants, Bengals, Cardinals, Browns.
Okay, so they haven't beat any like world beaters, and the one playoff team from last year that they beat
Was week
or
one.
that they played is the team that they lost to in Tampa Bay. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? A division game's a division game.
Yep.
Don't matter. Those are never easy wins.
And they could have lost that
at
game to the Giants if Gano didn't get hurt.
Yeah, beating Cincinnati in Cincinnati doesn't seem like the all crowning achievement that it would have been at the beginning of the year. Arizona is a young team like they are. To blow them out on the road though, that's probably to me their most impressive win of the season so far. I would say that blowing Arizona out on the road is not easy to do. So. Yeah, I mean, look, what Jaden Daniels has done and the chemistry that this team has right now, and Dan Quinn's managing the defense. He's letting Kingsbury do his thing on the offense, and Dan Quinn's not an idiot. He learned his lessons from his time in Atlanta. Like, I don't need my hands all over everything. I need to control what I know how to control and trust those that I hired to control what I need them to control. So, with that said, I think this is going to be, you're going to basically watch what some people would consider the future of the NFL. Other people will say this style of play just can't work because the quarterbacks take too much of a beating. You need a pocket passer. I don't care what your opinion is on this. It's going to be a fun game to watch. Both defenses are going to be freaking exhausted when it's over. But honestly, if you look at this game, right, if Washington pulls out this win, where's their next loss?
Next, they got the Panthers. Maybe the Bears, because that Bears D is for real.
No.
Yes, it is.
The Bears.
Yeah,
D
but I'm
is,
not. But Caleb Williams, I
isn't.
think, would struggle very much against the Dan Quinn scheme.
Maybe
the
Giants.
Steelers?
Maybe
Maybe
the
the Steelers. Maybe like that's what I mean. So we're talking if they win this game, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They'd be 9-1. If they win this game, you basically have to say they're either 8-2 or 9-1
Holy
after
crap.
10 games. Ain't nobody saw that coming with this Washington team one way or the
way.
other. With that being the case, though, I got to take Baltimore. I just don't think this is a 8-2, 9-1 team, and I don't see how they lose to Carolina. I don't think they lose to the Bears. I don't think they lose to the Giants. Even if the Giants have a kicker, I don't think they lose that game. And Pittsburgh is the next team all the way on November 10th. That could be the next team that I could see beating them. And even that game, they get at home.
And then the Eagles.
Then at Philly, home against Dallas.
And the Eagles
home.
are starting to.
I don't think
That game against
Jalen
Dallas,
Hurts.
is that on,
Jalen Hurts' world is catching up to him. I told
Yep.
everybody.
Is that Thanksgiving?
24th, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So they
All
got
right, cool. So I'll have a crappy Thanksgiving. Awesome.
You don't know that. You don't know what the team's going to
Hold on,
look
wait,
like.
no. Is it though?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I
24th.
guess
Yeah.
it is.
So, all right.
look-
So I got Baltimore. Eric,
I'm
you-
taking Baltimore. I'm making it
All right,
really
we're
easy for all you
sweeping
guys
this
because
one.
I mean,
Clean
it's-
sweep.
All right. What's our shit show game of the week? We got to pick one since Fife wasn't able to join us.
Who's
today.
Carolina playing?
hold on, but I do want to say one
Or
thing real
Cleveland.
quick because I'm picking Baltimore because of everything Joey said. This guy right here, he nailed
didn't say
every point I
everything.
wanted to hit before, so I'm not gonna bring anything else up.
I said nothing.
He hit.
I just picked the winner.
He has his moments.
He had a moment right there.
He had a moment.
A moment like this. Kelly Clarkson.
Oh God. let's stick.
The true and only American Idol.
I would say let's stick to
Football. Yeah, I know.
Eric. You made that so much harder on yourself than you had to.
Oh yeah.
Jaguars,
Now,
Bears, Cardinals, Packers,
eh.
Colts, Titans, Texans, Pats.
What are we looking at?
Shit show of the
shit
week.
show.
Chargers, Broncos. That might be your shit show of the week. Chargers, Broncos.
It's probably Giants, Bengals.
I mean, ironically enough, I think that, but I would have to say, I mean, I'll let you guys
Colts,
decide.
Titans?
I'd say Chargers, Broncos, or I think Chargers, Broncos is your shit show of the week.
You don't think it's a Seattle game? I'm only throwing that out because Seattle coming off a loss to the Giants in a game that they're looking at they probably shouldn't have lost. And San Fran coming in 2-3 on the year with all their
After
injuries.
losing to Arizona in a game that
They shouldn't have lost.
So Shanahan was 38-0 going into the fourth quarter with a 10-point lead. Arizona gave him their his first loss.
I say we pick this game.
So you want to go
This is
San
at least
Fran,
entertaining.
Seattle?
It's something we're at least going to follow. Like, we're not going to forget
Also
about
has some
this.
fantasy implications for people as well. If you know, I know.
And I'm going to kick it off as a shit show of the week. I'm going to start it off. I'm going to San Fran. Even though they're on the road, I think Seattle 3-3. It sounds like an okay start for them. But I don't think the 49ers are going to start 2-4. I just think they're a better football team than that. I see them evening things up here in the division with the Seahawks. Again, I think it's going to be a tough division all season long. But I think the 49ers kind of have to win this game in order to keep pace in the division, especially after that loss last week to the Cardinals.
Everything you just said, I'm agreeing with.
I love
going
it.
Niners.
Oh my God. Well, that's just boring.
Dude,
Why,
they
you
got to
going
win.
Niners?
No, I literally.
They got
What
it.
else
They
are you
can't go
supposed to
2-4.
say? And I mean, the only thing I'll add into this statement is like, hey, for people out there that believe the NFL is rigged, wouldn't you want both teams in that division be 500? Arizona, if they beat Green Bay, they're 500. Now you got three teams at 3-3. The Rams, I think, are on a bye week this week. I might be wrong.
I think you're right.
But I think the Rams are on a bye, so they can
Cooper Kupp coming back after the bye.
Yeah, so I mean, why not? Let's make it a clean sweep. Make the division a tied at a 3-3, and then if Arizona wins, we're really money.
Yeah, because the Rams 1-4. So
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
if all
So
three of those teams won this week, 3-3, 1-4. It'd be so tight division.
But then all of a sudden, right then next week, all three of them lose. The Rams win. Now they're 2-4. Everybody else 3-4. I mean,
Rams are
it's
just
perfect
looking for a wild card
NFL
spot.
stories.
It's gonna be a tight division. That's the one thing I will say.
That is for sure. And
But,
hopefully the Washington loses so the NFC East can stay tight, because if they win that game, they're going to run away with the division.
And the only other thing I'm going to bring up, because it's also tight, but it's tight in a completely different way.
Is this PG?
It's playoffs.
Okay.
I can't not talk about.
Where's our score?
I can't not talk about our Yankees. Real quick, 1-1. Going to KC now. They're going to play Wednesday, Thursday. So tomorrow night and Thursday. I don't know how Joey feels about it, but I'm a bit nervous. The bats haven't shown up yet, and I don't want to hear people getting on Judge. He had a great year. He's struggling in the postseason, yes. 1 for 3 last night. Had a walk on base. Again, you want him to come in and hit a home run every at bat. I get it, but at the same time, how we just let him get his rhythm? I think he's going to find it. I think this team still has more in the tank. I hope Clark Schmidt comes ready to play. I really don't want to go down, in this series. What are you thinking, Joey?
Dude, I'm with you. This is why I wanted the Yankees to actually not be the number 1 seed, dude. I didn't want the 5-day rest. And to be honest with you, I feel bad for the American League, Yankees and Cleveland, because they have no chance in hell to get into a groove right now. They were off for 5 days. They played a game, then they were off. Played a game, and now they're off again. Cleveland and New York have no chance to get into any type of groove. And I think it's so wrong of baseball to do that. Because in baseball, you need to be... It's an everyday sport. You need to be in your creature of habits. You need to do everything. And the Mets are killing it right now. And it's because they made it as a wild
7-2.
card. They made it as a wild card. They kept their momentum going. They didn't have any days off. Nah, bro. They kept it going. And now they're up 2-1 in this series. One more game to go. While the Yankees were just, sleeping at home. 5 days off. You can't get it. You can't. Oh, you can't get your
especially
groove.
a game that you play every day throughout the regular season.
And
I get that.
It's a
I
longer
really
break
get
than
that.
the All-Star break.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So no, I'm very worried for the Yankees. I'm very worried about Judge, seeing that he's literally got the all-time postseason record for strikeout rate, which is over 30%. for players with 200 at-bats or more. He is the #1 player for strikeout rates in MLB postseason history.
But again, what does that have
History,
to do?
dude.
Again,
Means he's either putting too much pressure on himself.
he's definitely doing that. That's what he's doing. He's putting too much
Because he's
pressure on.
amazing during the regular season. Maybe he's tired now. Dude, I have no idea, but he's the worst player ever.
He puts too much pressure on
In
himself. Is what he
postseason
does. He puts too. He's not the worst in postseason history. He might have the worst strikeout rate, but he's
Yes.
not. He's still batting 200. He's a career at least 200 hitter in the playoffs. There's some guys. A-Rod was below 200 for years.
Sixth playoff year, right? He's got to start producing, bro.
Listen, it wasn't until A-Rod in 2009. We had him from 2004 till 2009 is when he finally produced in the playoffs.
5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6 years.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is I think it's going to happen. I think he's just putting that pressure on himself. And when you put that kind of pressure on yourself, this is the reason though they went out and got Soto. This is the reason I'm hoping Wednesday, hoping tomorrow, they finally bench slow-ass Giancarlo Stanton and put in Dominguez.
Wow.
I'm sorry, you gotta do
you're
it.
not wrong, dude. I
Pinch
forgot
hit.
he hasn't played yet.
If you want to pinch hit Giancarlo late in the game because you need him in an at-bat for a situation, I am for it.
I'm with you.
But
put
he should not be
Dominguez in.
starting because Dominguez at least brings youth, he brings speed, he brings athleticism, all the things that right now Stanton can't bring.
He can only jog the first base.
It's garbage. And we can't have it. Again, last night, and I will tell you what, Dave, do me a favor. Listen to 5 minutes of the game. Is Bob Costas...
Oh, I heard them talk. I've heard people talking about this.
The worst
I don't like
to
it.
listen to.
I heard he sounds like the most like he
is
hasn't
terrible.
adjusted to the pitch clock, so he tells stories, and it's just,
everything
like,
he
none of
does,
it
he's
works.
anti-New York. He literally makes fun of Giancarlo Stanton before the at bat even happens.
I don't like Costas.
He's making fun of him. Like he talks, typical Yankees double play or like whatever. He's saying, like, dude, he is the worst.
I'm with you.
I'm literally screaming at the TV, and Jan's there. She's like, and she's looking at me like I got 10 heads, but I'm like, do you hear this guy? He doesn't shut the. I'm like, how do you?
Commentators are supposed to be unbiased too.
I'm literally sitting there going, "Thanks, Bob. Way to be you, Bob. Thanks for pointing that out, Bob."
Not like I'm not watching the
Every
game,
time,
Bob.
every time Judge comes to the plate, well, Judge has struck out 3 times in this game and twice last game, and if you add it up, George Brett never struck out. And he starts bringing up George Brett's stats, and it's like he hasn't played in 30 years. What are we doing?
They show George Brett, him and his wife are just on the phone. They just keep showing it for 5 minutes, and they're just on the phone.
Dude,
They're
it's
not
the
looking
worst part of the game. I didn't think that it got worse than Joe Buck and Tim McCarver. I didn't think it got
Bob
worse than Joe
Costas is
Buck
bad.
and Troy Aikman. It is worse. It is worse than Chris Collinsworth. He is bad. He is so bad at baseball. And if you hate New York that much, because it's not just the Yankee fans. When he calls a Met game, the Met fans say the same thing. He hates New York. There's an anti-New York bias built into him. And I'm telling you, it's obnoxious to listen to. It is the worst. It's worse than Stanton running the bases. It's worse than anything going on the field. It is. I can't listen to it. I literally turn the channel. Like I'd rather go and listen on the radio than watch the game with the sound on.
Could do this.
Can you just mute? Like I would just mute it and just freaking play music or something.
Well, that's what I do, or I end up going back and forth between other channels because I can't take more than 5 consecutive minutes of Bob Costas right now. It's absolutely absurd. So I just wanted to bring that up. But I'm with Joey. They got to do something. Judge has to start showing up. Pitching's got to show up.
And we need this Dominguez.
Team. You got to do it. You got to have Dominguez. He's got to be there. And real quick, I know Dave, you're starving, but I'm gonna hit this button.
What is that? Are we something else happening?
NHL kicked off. Devils 2-0. They played overseas, believe it or not. Played in Prague and Czech Republic and whatever.
Preseason.
No. They played 2 games against the Sabres overseas, and they're 2-0.
Really?
NHL started tonight. First game was supposed to be last night. Got canceled. It was because it was down in Florida with everything going on. The Lightning Predator got canceled.
Prayers and thoughts to everybody that's in the eye of that storm.
Yes, definitely.
Stay safe.
Timmy went to Georgia. Him and his family are.
That's good.
Yeah, up there.
Blues beat the Kraken. Panthers up 5-1 on the Bruins right now in the second period. And then you got the Blackhawks versus Utah.
Yeah, Utah's new this year.
Yeah, so they have Utah HC.
Utah Hockey Club. I guess they could. I guess the Mormons couldn't come up with a team name.
I wish the Commanders did that. Washington Football Team.
Washington Football Club, even anything.
WFC, I'd be cool with
That'd be so cool, man.
I'd be cool with
But
that.
Anyway.
NHL has started. So we kind of hit with all around the horn. So shout out to Fife. Shout out to all our hockey fans out there. We're going to talk a lot more hockey this season, too. Because we expect good seasons from both the Rangers, Devils, all the local teams here. But, hockey's just fun in general. And listen, nothing beats NHL hockey. NHL playoffs, anyway. Playoffs are stunning.
No sport I'd rather watch live. No sport. Hockey's the most fun sport to watch live, in my opinion.
In between being live, though, where can they find you?
Them and soccer.
It's D Hastings 23 for my Instagram and David Hastings 23 for my Twitter. I never can remember this stuff anymore. X, sorry, Twitter X,
whatever you want to call it. Insta Twitter face, whatever you want to call it.
You know, them social media platforms.
Oh, Belichick's on there now. I think he joined Instagram.
Oh my God, I was waiting for you to say TikTok. And
probably so you could look at.
He's got
he
a
probably joined
23-year-old
Instagram so he could go look at the pictures of his girlfriend on Instagram. Let's be serious.
And now he's
like, I want to know what you're posting.
He's got to mentally prepare for what he's going to see too.
He's now one of the boyfriends taking pictures for him.
Exactly. She's on the beach. Oh, let me post that for you, honey. But anyway, where can they find you on Instagram, Joey?
Instagram, JoeyDoth47. I saw what Timmy said that he clipped me singing, so if I'm able to post it, I will post it.
Sweet. And until next time, you can find me at The Living Legend on X, on Instagram at Louis Aussie Dude, or everywhere else in your favorite podcasting apps, choice, Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you get your podcasts. Find us there at Die on This Hill.
If you saw the random thumbs up just popped up over Ruth's face.
Did you go like this?
No, like an actual thumbs up graphic.
Oh, maybe because we said thumbs up? No, I actually found out why we do that, why that happens. I'll tell you after.
I know my brain's not spazzing out now. After the last week. Yeah, like after the fireworks last week, freaked me the hell out. Freaked the shit out of me.
Until next week.
Peace out, everybody.
Don't be afraid to have an opinion and die on this hill with us.